The JMS BoostMAX Performance Booster is the easiest way to add a ton of horsepower to your 2011 to 14 EcoBoost F150 without actually changing anything on your truck. This is a pretty creative plug-and-play mod that's going to give you an additional 90 horsepower, which obviously means harder acceleration. The BoostMAX does this by increasing boost pressure and reducing turbo lag. With the Performance Booster, you'll have the ability to manually adjust your boost up to 5 psi over the factory commanded boost. And there's also an option of boost curve for 87 and 93 octane. The JMS BoostMAX can be used with or without a tune, but you'll notice the improvements immediately. This is going to be a plug-and-play kit, and everything is included in the box for a proper install, so I'm giving this 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter, and expect it to take you about 30 minutes to finish. The BoostMAX performs like a throttle enhancement device in that it doesn't physically change any of the mechanical stuff on your truck. It digitally modifies certain parameters in the ECU, or the brain of your truck. But in this case, it adjusts the commanded boost pressure instead of boosting the throttle position sensor signal. Usually you would need a tuner that allows boost adjustment for on-the-fly changes. The JMS plugs into your car's ECU, map, and pedal position sensors and allows an increase to the commanded boost by up to 5 psi without doing anything else. The EcoBoost is set up for moderate power and daily driving, and even though its turbos and engine are easily capable of more power, the truck is electronically limited from the factory. Normally, the F150 is in the 12 to 14 psi range on hard acceleration. With this control installed, you'll be able to increase that up to 19 psi. This is going to improve your horsepower and torque dramatically, which in turn improves your acceleration. Depending on what PSI setting and any other mods you have will determine your max power available, but with everything dialed up all the way, you should be getting an additional 90 horsepower. Keep in mind that BoostMAX does not affect other things a tune would, like transmission adjustments. For increased control, you could stack this with a number of different mods like an SCT tuner, which would provide a big selection of adjustments like shift points, rev, and speed limiters. You can even use this in conjunction with the JMS PedalMax throttle response controller for reduced throttle by wire lag. At just over $300, this is not going to be the cheapest mod for your truck, but it is absolutely the most power you'll get for the least amount of money or labor spent. This is going to be less expensive than a handheld tuner that offers similar performance gains but with more parameters. And it runs just a few bucks more than the JMS PedalMax if you're looking for more than just a quicker throttle response. Switching over to the install, this is a plug-and-play design, and I'm going to be giving it 1 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter. Our first step is going to be to pop open the hood and then remove the negative battery terminal. After you pop your hood, just use your 8mm socket to remove the negative terminal. Once it's loose, just give her a pull and just place it out of the way. Now that the negative terminal is removed, it's time to disconnect the map sensor on top of the manifold. You're going to use the map sensor labeled. You're going to plug one into here and one end into here. Our map sensor is located right on top of the manifold. Just press the clip in and pull out. We're going to take our map sensor from JMS, put one end, and it will snap into place. And the other end back into the sensor. And that will also snap into place. Now we're going to do the same thing but to the TIP sensor. Labeled just on your wiring harness, disconnect the plug, plug in one plug in the other end. Same as before, you're going to press the clip in and pull. It does help to have a tool or some kind of screwdriver. And then you're going to connect one end to our wire harness and the other end to the sensor. And then you can zip tie all these wires together just to clean everything up later. Now it's time to connect the JMS BoostMAX module to the wire harness. You're just going to take the wire harness and then route it right near the ECU. And then we're just going to plug it in together. And you're just going to want to get a screwdriver and then tighten this up. With the module connected, it's time to route our flat pin connector into the cabin. We're going to route this around the engine, around the firewall, and then back through this rubber grommet right here and into the cabin. It's best to just get this around, going around the firewall. So now, with our grommet open so that we can pass the wire through, I'm just going to feed the wire
into the driver's side cabin. So with it pushed through, you can grab it through the grommet and just run the line in. And now you'll have access to be able to connect the rest of the harness. With our wire harness now through into the cabin, we're going to connect our pedal position harness. You're just going to connect the pin, the flat pin to the other pin, and then you're just going to connect the flat pin to the other connector. With the pedal position harness hooked up, it's now time to decide if you want to hook up your boost knob or the red 87 octane chip. The 87 octane chip is just going to allow an 87 tune, whereas the boost knob is going to allow you to go from 87 to around 89 all the way up to a 93 tune. And flat pin to flat pin, just like before. This is where you would connect the red pin if you were doing the 87 octane. Now, we're going to remove the pedal position sensor located right next to your accelerated pedal. We're going to disconnect it and then reconnect it to our wire harness. So you have your pedal position sensor located right near your pedal. You're going to pull up on this red tab, and then there's a button on the back. You'll be able to just yank it out. Now that we've disconnected our pedal position sensor, we're just going to connect the rest of the wire harness into one end and into the other end of the sensor. Clicks in, and then we have to plug this into this pedal sensor. With that snap, everything is in place. You're just going to want to clean up any of these extra wires so they don't get caught. Use some zip ties. Do a nice clean install, and you're ready to go. So now with our BoostMAX fully laid out and everything connected, it's time to reconnect our negative terminal. Take the same 8mm socket as before. Our next step is going to be to start the truck and just make sure the JMS is working. So we're going to start the car. With the ignition 2 on, the green LED on the BoostMAX will illuminate on. And with your hood closed, the install of JMS's BoostMAX Performance Booster is done. Now you're ready to start enjoying that quicker throttle response and that increased power. You can check this out and more at AmericanTrucks.com.